Eclipses are times of revelations. They shake up our world and show us the things that we would rather not see, but need to become aware of to evolve. Eclipse helps us see the truth around us and face it no matter how much we want to run away from it. But due to their revealing nature, eclipses can feel unsettling to the nervous system. As this eclipse stirs some chaos in and around you, know that it is ultimately for the better. This will be an intense time and it may at moments feel unbearable. Stay present with yourself and be open to receiving all that is revealed to you. There is healing nature to this eclipse. Remember that this is a time where you are shown pieces of information that may feel shocking, all there to heal you. Forgive, move forward and begin a new pathway. This eclipse opens the door to a new journey for you and the collective. First, though, it needs to help you see things around you that are limiting you. This eclipse shows you what has already ended in your life, but you haven't accepted it yet. It places situations that are over or going nowhere front and center so you can understand them. It shows you old patterns and habits that you know are not serving you and reinforces their release. It ultimately helps you consciously acknowledge the ending and finality of things you may still be attached to in some way. We know on many levels when something is not serving us anymore. Detaching from this energy, though, can be challenging. We cling to the familiar and will do many things to hold on, including sacrificing our own growth. This is the human nature. It is simply how we are wired. This eclipse shines a light on what you already know. In doing this, it gives you no choice but to accept what is and detach from what you already know is not for you. As the energy affects you on this eclipse, feel the next phase of your life developing in front of you, even if you are not ready for it. Ask yourself what needs to heal for you to step into the next level of existence. Also, honor any sadness within you as you say goodbye to old ways, people, or other energies. Allow the grieving process to occur. As you say goodbye to the things that are ending, you heal from any trauma that they may have caused you. This eclipse offers you closure. Feel any sadness and release the energies that have long expired in your life. Remember, this eclipse is all about you and your evolution, to grow into the person you are meant to be and align with your soul's mission. You may need to let go of some things. This is an opportunity to restructure our relationships, be it to our own self or to others in our lives. The solar eclipse takes place right about the time wherein Sun is about to change signs from Virgo to Libra. Hence, it creates the effect of eclipse energy on both of those signs within the houses in our charts. This takes place within Chitra Nakshatra, whose deity is Twastar or Vishwakarma, the celestial architect and divine craftsman of various weapons and armor. It spans from 23 degrees 20 minutes of Virgo to 6 degrees 40 minutes of Libra. Chitra is ruled by the planet Mars and is symbolized by a shining jewel or a bright pearl. On the day of solar eclipse, there is also the presence of a new moon in the same nakshatra of Chitra. Not just that, we also currently have Mars and Ketu present in the nakshatra of Chitra. All of this transformative conjunction of energies of Chitra nakshatra can prove to be destructive when it comes to the recent world events. But even other than that, in our own personal lives, generally, this is a time period to purge or cleanse our energies and lives of any attachments or vices that stick to us like impurities, because the energy exhibited by this amplified eclipse energy is that it will force us to look at areas of our lives which hold us back from honing our skills and pursuing healing to present ourselves as the best version, or in terms of Chitra Nakshatra, like a shining jewel or a bright pearl. This solar eclipse energy is asking us to sharpen the tools in our arsenals and prepare to put our best foot forward to transverse the mirage of Maya and forge towards sculpting or crafting our armors in the time of war against any obstruction in our path or purpose. We will also be experiencing a conjoining lunar eclipse on 28th of October happen within the sign of Aries in Ashwini Nakshatra. Reflect on what you need to release from to move forward more effectively during this time period. As Aries is associated with the energy of new beginnings, assertiveness, and leadership, it can signify a time for rethinking and realignment of starting new projects or setting impulsive goals. Ashwini Nakshatra is associated with healing and rejuvenation. This lunar eclipse may bring opportunities for emotional and physical healing and transformations. A lunar eclipse in Aries in Ashwini Nakshatra may mark a period where you need to release old habits, relationships, or situations that no longer serve your growth and development. In this context, Ashwini Nakshatra is ruled by Ketu, which is currently in Chitra Nakshatra, ruled by Mars, while the dispositor of Aries, that is Mars, is also present in Chitra Nakshatra. What this tells us is that we must be mindful of hasty decisions and actions during this period. It is essential to strike a balance between being bold and being impulsive. A lunar eclipse in Aries in Ashwini Nakshatra can be a time that may highlight your individual strengths and help you overcome obstacles. Aries, for you, this eclipse energy is going to be asking you to regulate your emotions and feelings when it comes to how you are going to be approaching transformations within your relationships, your business partnerships, as well as your work environment and your healing processes. Because there is this energy wherein you are contemplating how to be able to balance your relationships and your sense of self, as well as to be able to figure out the best way possible to be healing in this environment wherein you are uncertain about aspects of your relationship, not just to others but also to yourself, and to be able to navigate those turbulent feelings or the sense of wanting to move forward with your healing processes and your punctuation or your analytical mind to be able to decipher what is the best way possible. You have to be able to balance out on all these energies at this point, which is basically going to push you in a way to make sure or make decisions regarding what is going to be your priority at this point, be it your own personal gain and interests, or basically figuring out a way to compromise your best interests to be able to sustain or flourish relationship or even a partnership in the business or work atmosphere at this time. Taurus, for you, this eclipse energy is going to be asking you to let go or regulate your emotions and feelings in the context of being able to an equalizing force between figuring out the best way forward when it comes to expressing your own sense of individuality and your own interests, and on the other end of the scale being able to balance out the best interests possible for like everyone in your team and your in your work environment, and to be able to basically understand what is causing you to have this emotional lag wherein you're not able to express your desires in a way wherein it takes heed to the sense of leadership or the sense of ownership that you want to take of the work that you do or the amount of effort that you put into the kind of results you achieve. So this is going to be a time period wherein you have to balance out the equations of, do you want to be okay with losing out on certain profits that you can achieve just in order to maintain peace within your work relationships, or do you want to be striking out on that sense of being able to put a hand on or own or stake within the kind of effort that you've put into achieving a certain sort of result that has led to success within your work environment. Geminis, for you, this eclipse is asking of you to be able to regulate your emotions and feelings when it comes to the fact that you have to strike a balance between your need to feel like you can depend on others for your emotional stability, and your need to be able to figure out how to achieve a sense of peace and comfort within your own self, and rather than trying to find it within an external sense of be it romantic relationships or your friendships and network circles, how to basically figure out a way to be able to create that sense of support and safety and comfort within your own being, as well as to find the best optimum way possible to be able to regulate those sense of inadequacies within yourself by being able to handle how much of your power to create that sense of subconscious equality that you leave up to generating those sort of contacts or generating that sort of repertoire with other people, which basically funnels into your own sense of feeling worthy of certain achievements or feeling worthy of being able to chase after your dreams at this point of time. So you have to make sure that you are feeling self sufficient within yourself to be able to achieve those things, even with or without the support of others that you generally crave or look forward to. Cancers, for you, this eclipse energy is asking of you to be able to regulate your emotions and feelings regarding how you are going to be balancing your output within your professional structures and your responsibilities within your professional and work realm. And on the other hand, how will you be able to balance out your requirements or your responsibilities towards the familial structure? And how are you not going to have a self destructive communicative channel within your own self, wherein any sort of effort that you put into either of these two avenues, which is be it your work sphere or your familial sphere, feels inadequate? You feel like you're not being able to put in the amount of effort to make a change or create different results in either of these two phases, which is causing you to doubt your own sense of ability to achieve things, to be able to work hard, and to be able to have that sort of confidence to achieve those results in the first place. So you have to basically re engineer your inner monologue to an extent where any sense of feeling inadequate because you're not able to generate those results that you feel you need to be able to balance both of these things, it is not essential for you to have a balance within your ability to be able to give, be it in your work sphere and even in your home sphere. You need to be able to first understand how to tend to yourself and not diminish your value just on the basis of your ability to be able to provide value or sustenance. Leos, for you, this eclipse energy is asking of you to be able to regulate your emotions and feelings when it comes to striking a balance between your interests when it comes to your educational pursuits and your interests when it comes to being able to monetize those avenues of education, and to be able to create a sense of security within your finances, because there can be a prospect wherein the amount of effort that you're putting into being able to flourish within your educational prospects might not be creating the sort of results that you want to, and that can create a sense of inadequacy within yourself, which makes it harder to be able to distinguish within the means and the end of that whole process of learning and earning. So you have to figure out a way to be able to extricate the sense of result oriented learning and to be able to let off the pressure on yourself to be able to manifest the best possible financial means to create the best opportunities financially within that sphere of channelizing your learning into those goals, and solely be focused on figuring out which is the best way possible to be self assured and confident enough that whatever may be the result, you will be able to, if not as fast or steadily, otherwise, still be able to figure out a means or a result. On the other hand, you also have to strike a balance between your need to be able to completely immerse yourself and your identity within the scope of religious, spiritual, and philosophical goals and ideals, wherein you have to distinguish between your own sense of ideals and beliefs and morals, and what sort of aspect or influence does your family's value have on that sense of excitement or fun that you can create with an explorative journey on those bases. Virgos, for you, this eclipse energy is asking you to regulate your emotions and feelings when it comes to striking a balance between feeling like you are worthy only when you create a sense of resource or a sense of security within your finances, and to be able to equate that sense of worthiness within your own self by being able to provide that sense of security within uncertainty to your loved ones, because there is this sense of feeling like you are lacking within that sphere of creating a financial stability to an extent which makes you feel comfortable or less critical of your own efforts or even your own worth. So there has to be a realignment of your ideals, wherein rather than looking at a specific analytical number that you have come down to in order to be able to justify a sense of worthiness within your own identity, you need to be able to strike a balance between the need to justify that sense of kindness to yourself through a means or a checklist and its completion, and then only being able to credit or provide yourself a sense of worthiness. How do you work on providing that sense of nourishment and healing to your own self? Libras, for you, this eclipse energy is asking of you to be able to regulate your emotions and your feelings when it comes to striking a balance between your need to be able to provide value to others and your need to be able to sustain or equalize that by tending to your own self interest, because there can be a sense of feeling guilty when it comes to being able to focus your efforts and your interests on to your best possible outcomes, and that can create a sense of resentment even within the kind of relationships that you're fostering at this point. So rather than having it come to that sphere, it is the best possible time for you to be able to have a purge or a sort of cleansing or a loss within certain relationships that you harbor within your life that can constrict you from being able to tend to yourself in the best way possible, or even the parts of yourself that make you feel guilty to be able to put yourself first rather than being able to prioritize other people's requests, needs, and wants, and then finding the ability to channelize a sense of worthiness and a sense of happiness through pursuit of other people's peace and balance, and be able to not feel guilty while you're tending to create the best version of yourself and lose out on those relationships or those parts of yourself that constrict that energy from flowing to you. For you, Scorpios, this eclipse energy is asking of you to be able to regulate your emotions and feelings when it comes to being able to strike a balance between a sense of being analytical and critical towards your ability to be able to achieve your goals and dreams, and to be able to, on the other hand, let go of certain overtly embellished achievements or ambitions that you have conjured in your mind. This is an energy which is basically asking of you to be able to embrace the kind of realism within the dreams or the wishes that you harbor at this point, and to be also be able to look at what in terms of your goals and achievements is not something which is circumstances at this point, and to not feel guilty in order to be able to leave out on certain things that necessarily do not fall in the order of the scheme of events which are happening currently in your life, especially in the terms of your financial and your professional goals. So rather than being hell-bent on figuring out however or whichever means possible is necessary to be able to materialize those wishes and those dreams, it is important for you to be able to sit back and analyze what are the achievable things in the circumstances that you are currently working under, and what can be the kind of things which you can exterminate or you can lose out on to be able to even achieve a sense of peace within the things that you already have, and not to just be chasing behind a sense of achieving things. For you, Sagittarius, this eclipse energy is asking of you to be able to regulate your emotions and your feelings towards creating a balance within being a standout within your professional or even your financial abilities, because there is this need of feeling like you have a sense of control or a sense of dominance over the kind of results that your financial efforts or your professional efforts are manifesting right now. But what needs to also be able to be figured out is that how to separate your ego within the structure of being able to achieve a certain means, and feeling like that has to solely come out from your own personal efforts and dedication, because there has to be an alignment with having that sort of trust within your professional circles, be it the network circles that you have professionally, or even the kind of circles that you have around your certain interests or your avenues within your financial investments and your goals, or in general just your dreams and your aspirations. So you have to be able to figure out a way to trust within the impact of other people's contribution, and not just feel like it is your own effect or your own aspect or effort that makes the most substantial difference within the outcome or the result that you're looking for at this point of time. For you, Capricorns, this eclipse energy is asking of you to be able to regulate your emotions and feelings with regards to creating a balance within the need to be able to justify a sense of feeling driven, not just to your work or your professional output, but to also a need of feeling like you have to align with your inner peace and comfort within your own inner workings, because there is this sense of forging and trying to pillage outwardly within the structure of your work realm, wherein it can create these sense of hindrances or restrictions which make it difficult for you to feel like you can prioritize balance when it comes to your emotions and your peace. So you need to be able to be okay with putting your emotional and your physical well-being at the forefront rather than just your professional output and accolades, and to be able to channelize those differences within your approaches through your new set of morals or beliefs, which comes from an exploration of certain religious, spiritual, or philosophical ideals that are causing that sort of change within your mindset and your priorities when it comes to striking a balance between your professional and personal front. Aquarius, for you, this eclipse energy is asking of you to be able to regulate your emotions and feelings when it comes to striking a balance between your sense of feeling altruistic or philanthropic towards other people's needs, but also to be able to strike a sense of not feeling guilty when it comes to tending to firstly your own benefits or your own gains, when it comes to being able to channelize your resources in a way wherein you profit from other people's efforts, not unjustly, but to be able to not feel guilty in the sense of feeling like you can be able to function within prioritizing your own benefits rather than firstly tending to the collective. So you need to be able to make that distinction within the efforts that you're putting into creating that sense of equality or creating that sense of justice, but to be able to also realize that those morals and those values do not only work in the sense of that you need to project it outwardly, but also to be able to first understand how to provide those concepts within yourself and how to be able to make space for the kind of changing views or morals that you have when it comes to anything in relation to your religious, spiritual, and philosophical ideals and belief systems, and not to be too harsh or unjust with yourself when it comes to your need to be able to also provide nourishment and gains for yourself. Pisces, for you, this eclipse energy is asking of you to be able to regulate and stabilize your emotions and feelings when it comes to striking a balance within your need to be able to seek people for comfort and for a sense of security in the times of need or uncertainty, and to be able to separate rather than depending on people for creating that sense of stability within a structure of uncertainty or a sense of feeling like there are challenges currently in your path, especially when it comes to your finances. You need to be able to strike the connections that are not only dependent or are not only formed for creating that sense of security in this environment, but rather also to be able to balance out comfort or stability within your feelings, as well as how you will deal with certain issues regarding your finances, regarding your business prospects, to create it in a way wherein rather than being codependent on other people's inputs and their efforts, you need to be able to channelize those for yourself. Ability to be able to withstand such transformations or sudden events which are currently being put in your paths, and to be able to navigate a sense of understanding who needs to be privy to this information or this sense of influence over you during this time period.